This is 7 National News, and in our top story, Her Royal Highness Princess Haya bint Al Hussein, the wife of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the UAE Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, visited Australia this week as a part of an official UAE tour. During the 3-day visit, Her Royal Highness was received by Governor-General Sir Peter and Lady Cosgrove and met with the Honourable Julie Bishop, the Australian Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Honourable Matt Keane, the Minister of Innovation and Regulation. As a part of her discussions, Her Royal Highness Princess Haya was able to learn about Australia's aid programme, specifically in the Indo-Pacific region, and how the country is supporting gender equality and women's empowerment as a part of its development programme. In her capacity as the chairperson of the International Humanitarian City, Her Royal Highness Princess Haya also participated in a round table at the Lowry Institute for International Affairs, which is Australia's #1 think tank. In attendance were the UAE's ambassador to Australia, Dr. Obaid Al-Ketbi, as well as delegates from the Institute, Australian NGOs and organisations. Top of the agenda for discussion were global humanitarian issues, including the delivery of aid, as well as the humanitarian needs of conflict zones and those affected by famine. Passengers flying from the UAE to Australia will be subject to extra security screening measures. That'll start from April the 6th, according to an Etihad Airways statement. A spokesperson for the airline said that the move followed a directive from the Australian government on Friday that it will increase security checks for flights from some Middle Eastern airports. And the new measures are similar to those currently in place on flights to the UK. The statement added that they asked their guests to allow for extra time at Abu Dhabi International Airport so that the additional security procedures can be carried out. They added that the new rules do not affect Etihad Airways flights leaving Australia to Abu Dhabi and beyond. Australia announced the increased security checks, and they announced that they will hit passengers flying directly to Australia from Doha, Abu Dhabi and Dubai. The Australian Transport Minister, Darren Chester, was quoted saying that the changes are in line with the UK and there is no ban on the carriage of electronic devices on flights to Australia at this stage, and that there was no specific threat to Australia. Diabetic retinopathy is a leading cause of blindness in the working age population of most developed countries, as nearly 12% of diabetic patients are impacted by this type of eye disease. Doctors are urging the UAE diabetic population to get regular eye checkups in order to prevent unnecessary blindness. Doctors revealed that diabetic retinopathy, or DE, and diabetic macular edema, which is DME, are the most common forms of diabetic eye diseases, which impacts blood vessels in the light-sensitive tissue, or the retina. While stating that diabetic retinopathy is the most common cause of loss of vision among people with diabetes and blindness among working-age adults, DME, according to doctors, is a direct consequence of diabetic retinopathy and a clear indication of swelling in an area of the retina called the macula. Doctors at the American hospital in Dubai revealed that many patients with DME generally come for an eye exam in the very late stages of the disease, nearing blindness or already blind, and suggested that a simple routine eye checkup will help diagnose and prevent the disease. According to doctors, DME is silent, and without early detection, some patients will suffer from blurred vision and even complete vision loss, and also blindness in rare cases. A recent study revealed that despite figures indicating that vision loss is feared twice as much as other common complications of diabetes, 25% of people with diabetes are still not regularly discussing eye complications with their doctors. As vision loss among diabetic patients makes many activities such as driving and going to work difficult, doctors stress that regular eye examinations are the critical first step in the detection and management of DME.
The overall condition is called diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy, basically, just to make it simpler, is basically the effect of diabetes on the retina of the eye. Now, the retina of the eye is the most important part of the eye because it's where the vision is generated, it's where the nerves are. So the diabetes, unfortunately, affects these, that specific part of the eye and causes a lot of problems and changes. And those changes mainly cause something we call diabetic macular edema, which is the swelling of that retina, or the central part of it. So this is unfortunately quite common. The latest numbers are anywhere between 35 to 40% of patients with diabetes can have diabetic macular edema. Again, it changes from place to place, and it changes with the prevalence of the condition.
The Rashidia police station settled 254 million dirhams worth of check cases last year, as well as 331 million dirhams worth of referrals to the public prosecution. That's according to the director of the police station. According to a local daily, officials said that most of the cases registered at the police station were related to check irregularities, with 10,327 check complaints received out of a total of 13,147 last year. Brigadier Saeed bin Suleiman, the director of Al Rashidia police station, told the Daily that despite the number of complaints going up by 17.9% as compared to 2015, security programs implemented within the station solved 99% of the complaints last year. He also noted that they cover a huge area in Al Rashidia, including Dragon Mart, Mirdif and the Fruit Market, as well as many residential areas. And they have 3 security programs where they arrested 792 people last year who were staying illegally in the country. He added that Al Rashidia witnessed 7 murders in 2016, all of which were successfully solved. Officials also noted that 39 people died in 438 traffic accidents in Al Rashidia last year, including 18 people on the Emirates Road alone, and there were 31,329 minor traffic accidents. The Roads and Transport Authority, in coordination with MR Properties, has started the operation of an ABRA in MR's Dubai Creek Harbour. The step marks the first phase of tourist entertainment activities in the area to serve visitors of the project's sales centre. Mansour Al-Falassi, the Director of Marine Transport at the RTA Public Transport Agency, stated that teaming up with MR Properties is a part of their efforts to provide entertainment marine transit means for tourists and visitors of the area, which boasts deluxe cafes, restaurants and promotional offers. He added that they will operate ABRAs and organise recreational tours around the Flamingo Reserve at the Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary, and that the Dubai Creek Harbour is the 3rd ABRA service location operated by the RTA within MR's districts. The wait for some UAE residents to enter the boxing ring for their first fight finally ended on Friday afternoon as they put their training to the test. Round 10 Boxing Club played host to a total of 6 fights where contestants got the chance to put their gloves on and take part in their first fight. It took a total of 10 weeks of training for the everyday professionals to get into shape and prepare for the event, and also take home bragging rights after winning the bout. The concept of white-collar boxing involved an investment of over 3,000 dirhams, which included training 3 times a week under the supervision of former UK and Commonwealth middleweight champion Rory Gums. Working in the admin department, Anne Esteban entered the ring against her own colleague and outclassed her opponent with her impressive agility. The 3-round fight ended as a technical knockout, beginning the event on a high note for spectators that had packed the gym. Another explosive fight included Dimitri, who works in the hospitality industry, who showed no mercy to his opponent to win with a unanimous decision. It was also a fight to remember for Michael Wales, who drew first blood and registered his first knockout win a minute into the 2nd round.
I didn't expect that I'll take a technical knockout. It's just like I think of overnight, sleep well and stuff like. I just think that I will win because I put in my mind that I will win. I will get this as a win, but I didn't never come to my mind that I will win as technical knockout. So it's like this is it. Because I told him, it's like, I practiced for 10 weeks and stuff like that. So it's in my mind. I put it in my mind the whole night, slept well rested and stuff. Like, I thought, I will win this day. And this is day. And it's like, I did it well.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think it's what every boxer wants to do is win the fight by knockout, and yeah, I was pleased to see. It's obviously in bleeding is it's one of those things, but it was exactly what I wanted to do. The 10 weeks has been fantastic. The trainers Pat and Jerry that we've had, and Roy as well, they've been fantastic. So they've kind of started us off with a little bit of basic training, and as the fight getting closer, and even this week, just talking about, rather than all our preparation was done, it's just about more mentality. Even when we came here, I was kind of bouncing around, buzzing around. They said, look, just lay down, listen to music, chill out, and was pretty much chilling out until 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the fight. So it was really good to kind of keep calm, keep the nerves away, and then obviously getting a bit nervous when you walk down and you kind of get a glance of some friends and family that are watching. So
yes, it was actually a big thing for Samir, for my opponent, that he had absolutely great, amazing support, as well as myself. I had a lot of friends and family to support me. But another side is that I actually started training together with Samir in the same groups. And later on I moved to another group, and so now we had to fight together against each other, being kind of sort of a little bit of friends, So it was kind of mentally a little bit thin, but I mean, yeah, just the thing to stay focused and the fight, and this is why we did it.
And finally, looking to other news now, British Polo Day, represented by RJI Capital, returned to Dubai recently for its 9th edition, and was the first time that the event was held at the new St Regis Al Habtoor Polo Resort and Club. Around 450 guests and VIPs came together to celebrate the best of UAE and British traditions, including Khalaf and Mohammed Al Habtoor. The event kicked off with a cavalry versus guards camel polo display, followed by a bicycle polo demonstration, which is a sport played in the Olympics over 100 years ago. At 3:15, Stuart Wrigley captained the Oxbridge team, sponsored by Chelsea Barracks, against the golf team, sponsored by Vista Jet. RJI Golf beat Chelsea Barracks with 8.5 goals to 6. The highlight exhibition polo match of the day, the British Polo Day Plate, saw the home team, Habtoor Polo, play the visiting Royal Salute British Exiles, and the Bentley Habtoor team rode to victory with 7 goals over the Royal Salute British Exiles, 4.5. The agile Don Juan, ridden by Guillermo Quintino, was also named as Jaeger-LeCoultre's best playing pony.